What's up guys, Houndish here, and today we've got some Destiny 2 updates and a breakdown for the weekly reset coming this Tuesday, August 8th. And so this week Solstice has wrapped up, and of course, the main season threads have also wrapped up, but since we're in August, players will now look to prep or get things wrapped up before Season 22. And during this week, Bungie have said they'll have some more reveals for Season 22, so we'll cover what we know there, and then move into gameplay, we'll look at the weekly Nightfall and featured activities, playlist modes, key featured rewards, and the raid challenges, with everything worth knowing about what's happening in the game this week. And so, as always guys, I hope you find the video useful today, and if you do, a rating down below would really help us out, but without further delay, let's get into it. And so initially, for a little news section right here, of course we're going to get the showcase for the final shape and the launch of Season 22, and that's dropping on August 22nd. But between now and then, Bungie have promised a series of different reveals and insights about some of the changes they're making in the next season. And in terms of exotic armor reworks, they've said, similar to the first wave of exotic revamps in Season of the Deep, the team is working on another batch of underused exotic armor pieces in Season 22 to shake things up and give players a new reason to dive into their vaults. And so they've said we should look out for a new developer insight article going live this week to cover all of the changes they've got coming. And so it'll be interesting to see what Bungie have cooked up for Season 22. Most of the time, these kinds of reveals drop between Tuesday and Thursday, so we don't know exactly when it will be, but as always, I will be sure to keep you posted, and let us know down below which exotics you love to see get reworks for Season 22. And otherwise, once again, I'll let you know when that info drops. Otherwise, moving to this week, of course, Solstice of Heroes will conclude at the weekly reset, so hopefully you've got everything wrapped up that you may have wanted to complete, but Bungie have also said beginning during Season 22, transmog for Solstice armor will be updated to include the non-glow versions of both the 2022 and 23 Solstice armor sets for players who own them. So there will be a couple of additional transmog options there for Solstice armor, which will kick off later in August with Season 22. And moving to Season of the Deep content, of course weekly challenges and the season story have wrapped up, but a quick warning from Bungie here, and they say, as we approach the end of Season of the Deep, players should be aware that unclaimed non-season vendor engrams will once again be cleared from vendor inventories at the seasonal transition, but seasonal vendor engrams will remain until the next expansion launch. But players should ensure that they claim the affected engrams prior to the end of the season. So just something to keep in mind right there. Otherwise though, for content, Veil Containment will get yet another batch of dialogue this week, so if you've been keeping up with that, you'll be able to check in with it on Reset on Tuesday, but once again, you can catch up with any of the ones you may have missed this season by simply kicking off the mission. Moving over to the Vanguard, the weekly Nightfall will be PsyOps Battleground the Moon, so that's always a super fun one, and the featured weapon this time around will be the Braytech Osprey, of course, for the final time in the season. So good luck hunting that down if you are diving into Nightfalls this week. But moving over to the Crucible, Supremacy and Team Scorched will be featured, and Trials should return on the weekend at Friday's daily reset. For the raid and dungeon rotation though, the new featured activities for this week will include King's Fall, where you can acquire the Touch of Malice exotic scout rifle, and that one's getting buffed next season, so on top of the triumphs coming into the game that give higher chances to get it dropped, if you still need to pick it up, this week will certainly be a good time to try and grab it. But the other featured activity for the week will be the Grasp of Avarice dungeon, and as always, both of these activities will drop unique items with updated power relevancy. We'll also get the reset, of course, for the Ghosts of the Deep dungeon this week, so another chance to pick up the Navigator if you're still hunting it down, and good luck with that one. But as always, if you are diving into the Last Wish raid, don't forget to visit Hawthorne to pick up your Last Wish weapon crafting quest. And finally, for raid content, if you are diving into the Root of Nightmares, we'll see the Nezarec All Hands challenge this week, and so Acacia's Dejection, the Trace Rifle, will be the featured weapon. Certainly one of the better weapons for Root of Nightmares, so good luck hunting down a good roll of that if you still need it. And otherwise, of course, the Eververse store will refresh. Looking at the data, we're probably going to see a couple more new items in these final few weeks of the season, so as always, we can't preview that, but I will be sure to keep you posted at the weekly reset with the vendor video. If you are diving into Lost Sectors this week though, looking for exotic armor drops, initially, for Tuesday we'll get K1 Revelation dropping exotic helmets, and then on August 9th it'll move over to K1 Crew Quarters, which will be dropping exotic legs, and we'll get August 10th with K1 Logistics dropping exotic gauntlets, and then it'll be K1 Communion on August 11th dropping exotic chest pieces. For the 12th of August though, it'll be Sepulture dropping exotic helmets, and we'll see Extraction on August 13th dropping exotic legs, before finally looping around to Dreaming City with the Felion's Rest on August 14th, which will be dropping exotic gauntlets. But if it's Dares of Eternity you're diving into this week, the additional world drops at the end of the activity will include the Scatterhorn armor set and the Pathfinder armor, as well as weapons from Season of the Lost and a couple of Forsaken world drops. So a couple of additional items right there if you do plan to dive into Dares of Eternity this week. And very finally for the Dreaming City, if you're after the Ascendant Challenge this week, it'll be the Chamber of Starlight in Ria Silvia, featuring the Sumerian Garrison Challenge. So if you want to complete that one, I will run some gameplay of the location and collectibles at the end of the video if you need it. But otherwise, guys, for today, that's all the important stuff we have to round up for the weekly reset. Of course, things will get a bit more interesting in a couple of weeks when we get a new season, so between now and then I'll keep you posted with the news, updates from Bungie, and of course any drama that may kick off in the meantime. So be sure to keep it locked and loaded right here on the channel, get subscribed, and turn on notifications so I can keep you posted. But if you've enjoyed the video today, a rating below really does help us out. And let us know if you're wrapping anything up in these final couple of weeks of the season down in the comment section. But otherwise, as always, thank you for tuning in, and I hope you guys have an awesome day.